also one of the changes that we've noticed. And more fundamentally, the way we have designed and structured our organizations will have to change.
HR leaders put in a lot of work in maintaining the company culture and communicating to employees the importance of working towards attaining the company goals. They are also responsible for performance analysis and recommendation in case a few changes are needed. Hello and welcome to the Honest Talk by Freak Folks. I'm Harsh Pandey. For this particular session, we have with us a very special guest today, Ms. Ifeanyi Iyadi, ma'am. She will be joining us today all the way from London, UK. She is a versatile excellence and result-driven HR professional with over 9 years of experience spanning in manufacturing, banking, and maritime sectors. She is fondly called started her career with the bachelor's degree in economics at Oceanic Bank Plc as a corporate bank executive, and over the course of her career transitions into the world of HR and labor relations. She holds cross-functional experience with a great mix of skills and competencies from marketing to sales to HR, with which she has added value in different roles she has worked in. With each new role, she has demonstrated competencies in leadership and development, people and culture transformation, HR analytics and business intelligence, talent management, and HR operations, to mention a few. She is currently a head of HR beverages at Tolaram Group, Nigeria. So, first of all, ma'am, I welcome you to in this session. Thank you so much for joining and agreeing to share your thoughts with us.
Thank you so much. I feel very honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It's our pleasure too. So, moving to the topic of today's session, which we have chosen, is rethinking the role of human resource in the future of work. Human resource role has now changed to become more strategic and aligned with the business objective. The role has changed to implement talent strategies and support business results. HR professional now encompasses many roles. And my very first request to you is kindly please explain to our viewers, how do you see this? How will HR role change in the future? And what is the future role of HR actually?
Okay. So one thing is COVID-19 has forever left its mark on the way we live and work. There's been a paradigm shift for HR as a whole, with the transitioning of operational and transactional HR functions into automated systems. I would like to talk about some of the changes in workplaces that we've noticed. And sorry?
Sure, ma'am, please continue.
Okay. Some of which have actually been ongoing for a while and have simply been accelerated by the pandemic. Many of the inevitable results of drastic changes that organizations have had to go through, and in some cases are still facing you. You and I both know that there's been a lot of disruption in workplaces. So the first change is home as the new office.
Right.
This was a rather drastic development for a lot of organizations. One of the most visible changes in 2020 was the global overnight shift to remote work for much of the workforce. Though working from home had already become an increasing common occurrence for some companies before the start of the pandemic, there weren't many organizations with a decent work from home policy in place, or that were ready to go fully remote in a matter of days. And you know what happened with the pandemic? It was like, for us in Africa, it was like a day. One day, the next day, we had to start thinking about work from home policies. We had to start thinking about moving from transactional sales and transactional operations. There was disruption in the workplace. And what's more is that the difference between countries in terms of work from home readiness was notable. In the Netherlands, for example, it was rather common for organizations to give their office workers the possibility of working from home for a few days a week. But in Africa, that wasn't the case. In Africa, you show up, that means you've done 50% of the job. So while we didn't expect the pandemic to transform every single company that has the possibility to become fully distributed to do so, we do believe that working from home or anywhere else would remain an important part of how we work. And you can see that with a lot of companies. We have Twitter, we have Square, we have Capital One announcing that, work from home is here to stay, even post-COVID, and even up to that's the new future for them. And a lot of companies have adopted the hybrid workplace. A lot of companies have adopted remote working. So that was one of the changes that as organizations we had to go through to understand that, we're talking about the future of work, but the future is here right now. Another change is rethinking HR. A logical consequence of the increase in working from home, apart from a spike in, a lot of Zoom accounts and a lot of accounts that were created so that people can have meetings from home, is the push for HR to rethink many, if not all of its practices. Activities like recruitment and onboarding have forever changed. We have HRS and HRMS systems that have automated a lot of talent management processes. And these activities, as well as performance management, even up to firing decisions. I was talking to a friend of mine that works at another FMCG, and they're working on that. They're working on how to automate even exit processes. And these are HR functions that relied on in-person conversation, relied on face-to-face transactions. But the future of work, like I always say, it's here right now. And as HR professionals, we need to reinvent our current practices to effectively deal with these situations in a digital world. Similarly, another function in HR that has drastically changed is people management. For some managers, it's harder to check up on employees when they're working from home, whether down the streets or thousands of miles away. For HR, it will be harder to keep a finger on the pulse of its workforce. That's one of the challenges we're going to have. And we may have to rely more on technology to keep us connected and updated on employee productivity, which we can actually see. There are lots of apps and systems and softwares that have been designed to track productivity down to the very millisecond. So that's also one of the changes that we've noticed. And more fundamentally, the way we have designed and structured our organizations will have to change. We don't have water coolers where people go to gather and, in Africa, we say gist. I think a more profound word would be to gossip. We don't have a lunchroom where we go and you get to meet everyone from the company and you have spontaneous interactions and collaboration and creativity, innovation. All that is missed. And suitable surrogates for this kind of valuable communication are necessary if we hope to dimensionally function and to have a more, how would I put it, to have a more progressive organization. But many companies have already made use of online tools to foster a culture of togetherness despite physical distance. We have virtual happy hours. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
Okay, so virtual happy hours have started to replace after work socializing. You have people that go like, do you know what? We're going to have a party on Zoom. We're going to have drinks on Zoom, and you have people connecting like that. You have regularly departmental check-ins, which have also become increasingly important. And we started seeing a lot of companies begin to test additional virtual structured experiences to stimulate the camaraderie and exploration that was once only possible organically. Just as roles in HR would become more automated, new roles will also be created. A few we have seen is, I just saw one and I was extremely fascinated. I saw chatbot facilitator and I had to call my friend, what's happening? And she said, yes, they need a chatbot facilitator, but that's where we are now. A lot of skills, a lot of, as well as a lot of functions are becoming automated. A lot of functions will also come on board will also be created for the future. Head of work from home development, virtual reality trainer, head of gig and economy management, director of wellness. And as HR professionals, we need to upskill as well to be able to fit into the future of work and give impact. Some skills that you need as an HR person to actually upskill on: innovation, digital competence, very important, global mindset, digital data analysis has always been there, data analysis and predictive modeling, complex problem solving, inclusive leadership, design thinking, service orientation, you have to be social media savvy, and change management.
Right.
And sorry?
Right, yes. You are right. You are
Okay.
right. Yes.
Yes, because anytime I'm talking about this, one thing I say is the future is here. We've been talking about the future of HR for so long, but the future is here. And to explore the changing landscape of employee interaction even further, as HR professionals, we need to cast our mind back to pre-COVID world, just for a moment. Now, imagine someone, let's say Paul, joins your company, right? Paul goes through the selection process, meets a couple of people. He gets to go through, the induction process, and a part of his onboarding, you get to meet your team members. You get to your office. You see a cake, and there's a flower, and there's a laptop wrapped on your desk. You get to see your new workstation, and you get to see your line manager. They're all like, "Oh my God, welcome!" And you're attached to a buddy that takes you around. You get to feel included. Now, imagine this whole process without real life interactions. How would Paul feel? Would he be able to connect the same way with colleagues without the in-person lunch, the first lunch, the coffees, the office gossip?
Indeed.
So HR, we have to redesign the employee journey and measure virtual employee experience. Elements like work-life balance, well-being, connection, collaboration will be crucial both for employee satisfaction and the optimization of business outcomes. Just as companies will continue experimenting with more informal ways of team building and socializing, we may also see some more formalized online connections and partnerships being piloted at companies all over the world. For example, conferences now offer networking opportunities online. I'm sure you've seen a couple of them. And companies have this, a lot of companies have even automated the onboarding process, and then you have a buddy attached to you. The buddy checks in on you every day. And such, with the changes with the disruption of work and the changes that we are going through as an organization, we have to adjust. And you see that happening. We have to adjust. So such initiatives, they go a long way in reminding employees that they're not simply working in a vacuum alone at their desk,
exactly.
But they're part of a greater team.
Yes, indeed, ma'am. I think actually you have explained very beautifully, and you have explained all the process, how it is actually changing. And it is a kind of a shift we may see all around us. Now, my next question to you is actually, you have told a lot of about the HR. Ma'am, my next request to you is to explain our viewers a new way of working has emerged from the post-industrial age into a digital one. With it, the new need for a leadership. What are your views on the demanding leadership of this new age? How will it going to be?
Okay. Well, in the past decade, we have focused on a lot of things that, fortunately, the disruption has made us have to realign our thinking. One of them is, the generation gap. And We had, topics about how to deal with millennials, how to deal with Generation X, how to deal with Generation Y and Z. All that has been analyzed, decoded, prodded, speculated about extensively. But right now, I think with the disruption, which I always say, even though we had the disruption and we had to adjust, we've also had to upskill and change our minds and the way we think. So instead of us to see or to concentrate on the generational gap, what we concentrate on now is that understand your workforce, develop our talent strategies, right? We should look beyond group differences and gather insights on individuals, employees' interests, values, and aspirations. And this also helps us to personalize how we manage people as HR professionals. And for the leaders, especially for HR, talking about getting the seat at the table, we are now more interested in actual value and actual impact. That is literally HR's mantra right now. HR, even with data, we're more data driven, but we are more interested in the impact of data. Prior to this, we were all talking about data analysis and how to interpret data and how to use stories, tell stories with your data. But what about the impact on the business? And now there's a lot of impact in terms of measuring leadership. We're concentrating more on middle line managers because, if you start from the top, yes, it needs to transcend down, but we've even come to understand that the middle line managers are the most important part of driving the business vision, the business goals, and even driving our culture. And HR right now, HR professionals in all industries, we need to improve our business acumen. HR professionals need to understand the business, its strategy, its customers, and its context. Only when we have a deep understanding of the business can HR be able to add maximum value. And
Indeed, ma'am. I think actually you have explained very beautifully, and I'm very confirmed that this answer was very meaningful from your side. And my next question to you is, as you have very rightly mentioned, and I have currently actually listened to you, and you made a very great point. The business world has changed dramatically over the last few decades, and now we live in a connected society where change can be fast-paced, constant, and unpredictable. Rapid advance in technology have created an environment where the internet, smartphone, and social media are ubiquitous, and the 2008 global financial crisis and 2020 pandemic has increased the sense of turbulence, danger, and unpredictability in these certain areas. In your opinion, what are the critical skills actually required to excel in this fast-paced changing world?
The critical skills needed to... Sorry, I didn't get that. The critical skills needed to... Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Yes, I was just asking, you said what are the critical skills needed to?
Actually, the critical skills needed to survive and thrive in this fast-paced changing world.
Oh, okay. I think I'd already talked about that. One of the skills I think is logical reasoning. Logical reasoning. There is prior to the pandemic, there was a war of talent. There was a war of talent where we had jobs opportunities, we had vacancies, but we didn't have people that could key into our business acumen. And personally, I came to realize that there was a low level of logical reasoning amongst the fresh graduates. They're thinking very theoretical, which is understandable because you're just coming out from the university. But how do you apply that logically on the field, on the job at the moment? A lot of the businesses have transcended from, operational stuff. And if we're talking about strategy, you have to have logical reasoning. And I think it's is a skill that needs to be harnessed and trained on in universities. Another skill is innovation. I had said that earlier. Innovation. You need to be innovative. You need to be creative. You need to have digital competence. You need to have a global mindset. We're talking about the age of inclusiveness and diversity. A great skill that we should start developing in our employees is a global mindset. Data analytics, yes, would forever be there because that's the future. Complex problem solving, inclusive leadership, design thinking, and social media savvy. Social media savvy. Unfortunately, a lot of people in Africa are not social media savvy, and it's a hindrance for people that want to take their career to the next level, for people that want to be more enlightened, for people that want to rebrand or brand themselves. And so a lot of people are not even so social media savvy that they're not aware of what's happening in their current environment. Another skill is change management. I think those are the skills that we need to develop on.
Indeed, ma'am. Actually, you have mentioned, and this was really a very meaningful answer. I'm sure the viewers who are watching this session, they are surely going to understand this actually needed to be understand in this changing world. And my next question to you is, what do you think? What are the job opportunities for the young professionals in this profession? And also my request to you is please share some tips for the new young professionals.
Job opportunities. Yes, we all know that a lot of HR functions are being automated. You can't say that enough. But I've listened to a lot of HR trainings, lectures, leaders talk about, concentrate a lot on upskill yourself. A lot of HR functions are now automated. You need to find out, you need to get base with delivering actual impact. But yes, a lot of HR skills are going to phase out. There's no doubt about that. But we're also seeing a lot of, HR skills coming on board as well. A lot of HR functions coming on board as well that we're not thinking about. Right now, we have a lot of HR functions coming on board about, mental health. I think that's one thing that the pandemic actually exposed us to. Everyone, literally the leaders, because I can remember during the pandemic, people would call me and I'm like, I have to talk to them. I have to make them understand that your job is safe. I have to make them understand that, what, the company is going through this right now, but we have to go through it together and we'll get better. The most important thing is let's do this together. But the challenge I had was no one was calling me to ask me how I was doing. No one was calling me to ask me, so how do you feel today? Are you okay? The kind of questions I was asking, like, so how do you feel today? How's your family? Mentally, how are things? Are you having issues with delivering on your job, even if you're working from home? If you're working from home and you have to be on the floor, but you can't be on the floor because there was a lockdown, how are you feeling? Are you having issues with, internet connection? Are you having issues with your neighbors? Are you okay? So I had to do that a lot. And I realized that we need, as HR, to have a department specifically for this, for mental health. We need a function for this. We need an HR function that is designed for employees' mental health, that is designed to ensure that employees are not just, we're not talking from the angle of just productivity. We're not talking from the angle of just, a good employee experience. We're not talking from the angle of working in a conducive environment. Get down to the basics. Mental health. What exactly is happening beyond the office? What exactly is happening with your family? Get someone. I know a lot of companies have this. We have this as well. We have guidance counselors, but it's more like, there's a challenge. I go to a guidance counselor. We need a department that can literally measure this and can drive this.
Indeed, ma'am. Actually, this was really very meaningful. And you have mentioned a very good point that this is the time we need to actually look onto mental health as well. Ma'am, my next question to you is rather say it's the last question of this session, because I can say there is a lot more to learn from you, but today I don't want to take too much of your time. So moving to my last question of this session, what are the attributes of a successful HR professional? How do you skill yourself to become an agile HR professional?
How do you skill yourself to become an agile HR professional? Understand your business. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
I can't give impact if I don't understand what my company is doing. I can't give impact if I don't understand what my competitors are doing. Industry awareness is very, very important. I need to understand my business. I need to understand the industry I'm working in. I need to drive that. I need to drive that in all my HR functions. If I'm recruiting, I need to have that at the back of my mind. That should be the driving force. Why am I recruiting sales executives with a certain skill set? Is it because my competitor is doing that? Is it because that's what the industry demands at that time? Is it because right now we're trying to, does it change management, or right now we're trying to evolve? I need to know that. And most times we talk about HR getting a seat at the table, but I always ask HR professionals, has your finance head called you and asked you for your opinion on something financial? If it hasn't done that, stop fighting for a seat at the table. Has the GM called you to ask you your opinion about something in production? If it hasn't done that, stop fighting a seat at the table. Because when you get to the table, what are you going to be doing? Documenting? Are you going to be the secretary? Are you going to be documenting the whole meeting? Is that what you're going to be doing there? Because these are people that give impacts that drive the business down to the very grassroots. They drive the business. So personally, I feel for all HR professionals, obviously, you have to learn on the job, you have to go for trainings, you have to get your certifications. But after all that, I've met a lot of HR people that really do not even understand the business. And as HR people, there's something we have to stop saying. Stop saying it's not my job. It's a very common thing. You're asked to contribute to something, and you say, no, it's not an HR job. It's not my job. No. You don't have to be the executioner, but you can be in charge of actually handling the process. You can be in charge of ensuring that this process is done properly. And the only way I can do that is if I understand what the process is. The only way I can contribute to a sales process is if I understand my sales process. The only way I can contribute to a manufacturing process is if I understand my manufacturing process. So I think the two most important things, industry awareness and business. Understand the business.
Indeed, ma'am. Actually, this was really very meaningful answer from your side. And I must say it was a kind of a healthy conversation with you over the topic. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining and giving your important time. We look forward to conduct more sessions with you in future.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this session. It was very lovely. Thank you. And thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. It was our pleasure. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
On the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside.